Hi guys, how you doing? I miss you all. Hope you're all doing well. Jared asked me to do one of the devotionals, so I had this wrote before we changed the format for the teen department, so hopefully you enjoy it. We're going to talk about the music of today. It's important to ensure that if you're enjoying secular music, you're aware of what you're listening to and conscious of how it's affecting you. And if you aren't sure whether the song you're listening to helps you glorify or not, maybe it's best to switch it off. We shouldn't love sin. We should guard ourselves because of their sinful content. Some songs might make us feel angry at the world or make us feel like God is a killjoy for not letting us do everything the world, understand that, the world says is good and fun. Just because someone else says it's good and fun don't mean it is. I've had experience in the past and I would love to change that. Matthew 5:29, if thy right eye offendeth thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. But we don't have to block out the world entirely. The Bible never says that we need to completely disengage from the world. In fact, before we messed it up, God did create this world for us to enjoy, and the beautiful creation He made inspires a lot of secular music, art, media, and more. Secular music can be enjoyable, beautiful, and thought-provoking. So it's definitely possible to enjoy secular material and glorify God while you're doing it. A good question to ask yourself when deciding whether a song or artist is appropriate is, does this help or hinder my worship? We hear a lot of different versions on the same question about the music. Is it right or is it wrong? Let's start with our own Christian music first. What is good Christian music and what is bad Christian music? Some will say that the new Christian music is not real Christian music. And the true, only real Christian music is the old hymns from our hymnal. Well, first we're going to have a history/math lesson. First, when was the first King James Bible printed? Anyone? Hopefully you got it right. 1611. Okay, so 1611 is our point of reference for the math portion. I picked 3 of my favorite songs from our hymnal, and I'm going to give you a point of comparison for your argument. And understand, I said your argument, because ultimately you and you alone have to decide in your heart what is right and what is wrong. First song, How Great Thou Art. That was wrote in 1885. That's 274 years after the Bible was penned. Old Rugged Cross. I should say King James Bible was penned, sorry. The Old Rugged Cross was wrote in 1873. That's 262 years. Amazing Grace, wrote in 1779. That's 168 years after the Bible. Now imagine what would be said about the music I just listed and we have become accustomed to if someone from 1611 had listened to it. What do you think they would say? Be pretty interesting, huh? Probably the same thing most of the people who don't give new Christian music a chance say. It's of the world. 1 Corinthians 10:31, whether therefore ye eat or drink or whatsoever ye do, do all to glorify God. To the glory of God, sorry. Romans 12:2, and be not conformed to this world, but ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Ephesians 5:10, proving what is acceptable unto the Lord. Ephesians 5:19, speaking to yourselves in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody in your heart to the Lord. Just remember, what you do reflects on who you are and how God and everyone else sees you. You need to remember Matthew 5:16 before you do something questionable. Matthew 5:16, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. I'm going to give you some examples of artists today. Now, remind you, I did this probably close to a year ago, so the top 5 has changed dramatically probably since then. Top 5 Billboard songs at that time were Halsey, Without Me, Ariana, Thank You, Post Malone, Sunflower, Travis Scott, Sicko Mode, and Panic at the Disco, High Hopes. Which ones have cussing in them? Okay, the only one, Panic at the Disco, is the only one without cuss words in it. I'm going to give you some people you might not know who are Christians. Justin Bieber, Kanye West, Chance the Rapper, Kendrick Lamar. Then we also got some movie stars here. Tyler Perry, Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt. And at this time, Chris Pratt was on a 21-day diet of prayer and fasting like Daniel did. But don't forget, we have the other side of the spectrum too. We have the atheist. You got Angelina Jolie, Kevin Bacon, Joe Rogan, and Bruce Lee were some of the ones I wrote down. Understand, someone else's faith does not have to interfere with yours. But when, and if it does, you have to know when to say goodbye. Take, for example, our atheist I mentioned. I love Bruce Lee movies. I think Joe Rogan was great on the UFC. Kevin Bacon's had some awesome movies. But none of that interferes with my walk with God. Before you idolize or fall for the next star, find out who they really are. I've got an example of a person that when I wrote this was pretty popular, and I heard the kids talk about him and everything, and he was one of their favorite people. NBA Young Love. I don't know, but I did my research on him. He was raised by his grandmother, but when she died, he went to crap. Dropped out of school in the 9th grade, got into gang-related stuff. He was arrested for suspicion of first-degree murder. Has 4 kids by 3 women allegedly. Understand the reason it's allegedly is because he hasn't accepted them. Now, what do you think about this person? Now, you may know his songs. I do not. You may think he's great. But maybe you should look into what he is kind of person before you idolize him, which you shouldn't idolize anyone but God. What would you do, or what if you was his grandma? Would you be proud? What if you was one of his teachers? Would you be proud? What if you was the person he was thinking about killing? Would he be one of your favorite people? What if you was one of the women who had his babies? Would you still love him? And last but not least, since this was for the teenagers mostly, what if you was one of his kids? Would you be proud to call him Dad, even though he doesn't accept you as his? I mean, I'll leave you with that thought right there. Take this time, get to know your parents. Parents, get to know your kids. You get a chance that a lot of people don't get. Those older ones that our kids are grown up, we missed out. If we could take this time, I'm sure a lot of us would say what we would do. So please, teenagers, get to know your parents, because one day they won't be here. And you need this time. God bless you all. I hope to see you soon. Love you. Bye.